My girlfriend was jealous of my brother's girlfriend for 7 months. When my brother proposed with our grandmother's ring, she sent dozens of hateful messages. Now she's legally banned from coming near my family. I, 25M, wanted to get some advice about a situation with my girlfriend Kate, 25F, that has been getting worse over the past few months. We've been dating for about 7 months after meeting through a dating app. Things started out great between us. We clicked right away and became pretty much inseparable. I really thought Kate might be the one. We enjoyed the same activities, had similar views on most things, and generally got along really well. But there's been one major problem that has been getting worse and worse. Kate absolutely cannot stand my brother Mark's girlfriend Jenna, 23F. Some background about everyone involved. I have 3 brothers, Mark, 28, who is the oldest, Luke, 24, and Tyler, 9, who lives with my dad. Mark and Jenna have been together for 3 years and live together in an apartment about 15 minutes from mine. Mark works as a marine biologist at the local aquarium, and Jenna is finishing up her PhD in astronomy. They're both pretty big science enthusiasts and spend a lot of their free time doing stuff related to their fields. Jenna's extremely intelligent, the kind of person who can explain complex concepts in ways that make sense even to someone like me who never went past basic science classes. My family has always been very close-knit. Growing up, we spent most weekends together, and even now as adults, we try to see each other at least once a week. Mark and I actually shared an apartment until about a year ago when he moved in with Jenna. Given how close we all are, my new girlfriend meeting my family was always going to be a big deal. I noticed pretty early on that Kate seemed to have a problem with Jenna. At first, I thought it was just that they hadn't spent enough time together to get comfortable around each other. Kate would make little comments after we left family gatherings, saying things about how Jenna seemed stuck up or thought she was better than everyone else because of her education. I honestly didn't see it that way at all. Jenna has always been pretty down to earth despite being incredibly smart. She grew up in a small rural town with modest means but got scholarships to attend good schools. Over time, Kate's dislike of Jenna only seemed to get stronger. She started saying Jenna was entitled, dramatic, and arrogant. Kate doesn't hide her feelings very well, so the tension became noticeable at family events. I've tried to talk to Kate about it multiple times, but she just doubles down on her opinion. What makes this situation more concerning is that I've started to notice Kate doesn't seem to get along well with women in general. Most of her friends are guys, and she often makes dismissive comments about other women we meet. But her issue with Jenna seems to be on another level entirely. The first major incident happened about 3 months ago when my grandmother passed away. My grandmother lived across the country, so the whole family flew out for the funeral. My dad paid for tickets for me, my brothers, and Jenna. Kate wasn't invited. There were good reasons for this. First, Kate had never met my grandmother. Jenna, on the other hand, had known her for years. My grandmother and Jenna actually shared a hobby. They both loved gardening and would exchange emails about different plants and techniques regularly. Jenna was genuinely upset about my grandmother's death. Kate didn't say anything before I left for the funeral, but when I got back, she was clearly upset. She started bringing it up constantly, saying it wasn't fair that Jenna got to go but she didn't. She even suggested my dad should have paid for her ticket too, just to be fair. We've argued about this countless times since then. I wish I had just paid for Kate's ticket myself to avoid all this drama, but at the time, I didn't realize how upset she was about being left out. The second major incident happened just 2 weeks ago when we all went to visit my dad for his birthday. Mark, Jenna, Luke, Kate, and I all drove up together. When it came time for sleeping arrangements, my dad said Mark and Jenna could share a room, but he wanted Kate to sleep in the guest room while I slept in my old room. His reasoning was that he wanted to set a good example for Tyler, who's only 9. Kate was furious about this. She pointed out that Mark and Jenna were allowed to share a room, so why couldn't we? I tried to explain that Mark and Jenna have been living together for 2 years already, and Tyler has even stayed at their apartment for weekends before. I also mentioned that when Jenna first started dating Mark years ago, she also stayed in the guest room when they visited. I told Kate it was my dad's house and his rules, and that once we'd been together longer, things would probably change. But Kate wouldn't drop it. She kept bringing up both of these incidents, claiming my family likes Jenna more than her. We've fought about this constantly. A few days ago, in the middle of an argument, I made things worse by blurting out, "Well yeah, they've known her longer. We all care about Jenna, she's practically family at this point." Kate took this as confirmation of her fears and accused me of liking Jenna more than her and not being serious about our relationship. Then things got even worse. I found out from Mark that he's planning to propose to Jenna soon. He's going to use our grandmother's ring, which she left specifically to be given to one of her grandchildren's future spouses. My brothers and I had already discussed this and agreed Mark should have it since he's the oldest and ready for marriage. Plus, Jenna had that special connection with our grandmother. I stupidly mentioned this to Kate, thinking she'd be happy about the news. Instead, she completely flipped out. She started saying how selfish Jenna was for taking the ring, asking why I or Luke didn't get it instead. I tried to explain that we all agreed Mark should have it, but Kate refused to believe it was anything other than Jenna manipulating everyone to get what she wanted. What's really bothering me now is that since finding out about the engagement plans, Kate has suddenly started dropping hints about moving in together. Before all this, we had explicitly agreed we wouldn't consider living together until we'd been dating for at least a year. Now she's bringing it up almost daily, talking about how her lease is ending soon and it would make more sense financially. She's also started hinting about getting engaged herself, asking questions about what kind of rings I like and sending me pictures of engagement rings just for fun. The timing makes me think she's just trying to compete with Jenna rather than genuinely wanting to take these steps in our relationship. I'm really struggling with all of this. The idea of my girlfriend being jealous of my future sister-in-law is bizarre to me. I'm starting to wonder if Kate was ever really honest about what she wanted from our relationship, or if she was just telling me what I wanted to hear. She knew from the beginning how close my family is, and that anyone I ended up with would need to get along with them. I've decided I need to have a serious talk with Kate. I plan to tell her clearly that Jenna is going to be part of my family, and her hostility towards her needs to stop. If she can't accept that, then I don't see how our relationship can continue. I don't want to waste time with someone who can't get along with the people who matter most to me. Has anyone else dealt with something like this? Am I overreacting, or is this jealousy as concerning as I think it is? Update 1 first, I want to thank everyone for their comments on my original post. Reading your perspectives really helped me clarify my thoughts and gave me the courage to address this situation head on. Before I get into what happened, I want to make it clear that Kate isn't a completely terrible person. She has many good qualities, she's funny, ambitious, thoughtful in many ways, and we genuinely enjoyed each other's company most of the time. This conflict with Jenna was just one aspect of our relationship, but unfortunately, it turned out to be a deal breaker. 3 days after my post, I invited Kate over to my apartment for dinner. I decided to start the conversation by trying to understand the root of her issues with Jenna and my family. I wanted to give her one last chance to explain herself before making any final decisions. Kate finally opened up about why she felt so threatened by Jenna. She explained that she believed my parents had embraced Jenna as a surrogate daughter because they have 4 sons and no daughters. In her mind, this role was now filled, leaving no space for her to be accepted in the same way. She felt Jenna had an unfair advantage because she'd been around longer and had already established herself as the female presence in our family. Kate specifically mentioned feeling excluded from the funeral trip, saying if she had been allowed to come, she could have helped clean out my grandmother's house afterward and proven herself to be helpful and caring to my family. The way she phrased it struck me as calculating, like she viewed these family moments as opportunities to score points rather than genuine ways to connect and support people she cared about. I tried reasoning with her. I pointed out that she actually had several potential connections with my family that Jenna didn't. Kate is Catholic like my mom, Jenna isn't religious. Kate grew up in the Northeast like my parents, Jenna is from the South, and Kate is a high school teacher like my mom was before retirement. I explained that Jenna's only real advantage was time and history with the family. Kate wasn't hearing any of it. She had convinced herself that there was some kind of competition for a limited spot in our family, and that Jenna had already claimed it. No matter what I said, she couldn't seem to get past this idea. Finally, feeling that we were going in circles, I suggested we take a break for a couple weeks to think things over. I told her directly that Jenna was becoming part of our family when she marries Mark, and Kate's inability to accept this was creating an impossible situation. Kate immediately rejected the idea of a break, stating firmly that she doesn't do breaks. With that response, I realized there was no middle ground to be found. I told her that if she wasn't willing to take time to reconsider her attitude, then we needed to end things completely. I did leave the door slightly open, saying if she changed her mind in the next few weeks, I'd be willing to talk again. She left my apartment that night, and I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. The following Sunday, I was at Mark and Jenna's place watching football. Despite the breakup, I was having an okay day, sad about Kate but glad my team was winning. Mark and Jenna were both in good spirits too since their favorite teams were doing well. It felt nice to just hang out and try to get back to normal. Around halftime, Jenna's phone started buzzing constantly. When she checked it, her face completely changed. She showed her screen to Mark, whose expression immediately turned from relaxed to furious. Then they showed me what was happening. Kate had sent Jenna dozens of messages on Facebook. Based on the timestamps, she'd been sending them rapid fire for about 20 minutes. The content of these messages was shocking, even knowing how Kate felt about Jenna. She accused Jenna of considering my family her territory and keeping Kate out. She made horrible comments about Jenna's background, calling her a pathetic redneck from a backwards town that probably just got electricity. She mocked Jenna's parents for being religious and made classist remarks about Jenna marrying up and how her grandmother's ring was probably the nicest thing she'd ever touched. Kate even accused Jenna of being pregnant and forcing Mark to propose because of it. She threatened to dig up dirt on Jenna's past, saying something like people marry their cousins where you're from. I bet there are stories I could find about you. The messages were vicious and completely uncalled for. Jenna was visibly upset. She's usually very composed, but this attack had clearly gotten to her. She deactivated her Facebook account immediately after showing us. Mark was livid. I've rarely seen my brother that angry. I was furious too, but I couldn't see any benefit in confronting Kate further. The messages had also revealed that Kate knew about the proposal plan and the ring, which ruined the surprise for Jenna. I felt terrible for introducing Kate into our lives and exposing Jenna to this kind of harassment. The whole relationship suddenly seemed like a huge mistake that wasn't worth all the drama it had caused. Later that evening, Jenna suggested that maybe Kate's behavior stemmed from being raised as a wealthy only child who always got her way. I'm not sure if that explains it or if Kate is just naturally mean-spirited when she feels threatened. Either way, her behavior was completely unacceptable. The one small positive outcome is that Mark decided to change his proposal timeline. Jenna's father is a jeweler and was already resizing our grandmother's ring, so Mark couldn't propose immediately anyway. Instead of waiting until Christmas as originally planned, he's now thinking of proposing at Thanksgiving. At least something good will come out of this mess. Update 2: It's been about a month since the Facebook message incident, and a lot has happened that I wanted to share. After Kate's messages to Jenna, I blocked Kate on all my social media accounts and my phone. I didn't want to risk her trying to contact me or, worse, continuing to harass Jenna or possibly other members of my family. Mark and Luke also blocked her as a precaution. Despite blocking her, Kate found ways to try to reach me. She sent a handwritten letter to my apartment about 2 weeks after the incident. In it, she apologized, not for her behavior toward Jenna, but for overreacting to what she still maintained was unfair treatment by my family. She asked for another chance and claimed she had been drinking when she sent those messages to Jenna. I didn't respond. A week after that, Kate showed up at my workplace during lunch. I work at a marketing firm downtown, and she waited in the lobby until I came down to meet a client. When she saw me, she tried to start a conversation as if nothing had happened. I told her firmly that we were done and that her behavior toward Jenna was inexcusable. I asked her not to contact me again and walked away to meet my client. My coworkers later told me she hung around for almost an hour before finally leaving. The most concerning incident happened last weekend. I was having dinner at my dad's house with all my brothers, including Tyler. Jenna wasn't there because she was attending a conference related to her PhD work. Halfway through dinner, Kate showed up unannounced at my dad's door. My dad answered, and Kate immediately started asking to speak to me, saying she needed just 5 minutes of my time. My dad, who already knew everything that had happened, told her I didn't want to speak with her and asked her to leave. Kate refused to go and started raising her voice, saying she had a right to explain herself. Mark went to the door to back up my dad, and Kate started yelling accusations about Jenna, loud enough that all of us, including 9-year-old Tyler, could hear. She claimed Jenna had turned my family against her and ruined our relationship. My dad eventually threatened to call the police if she didn't leave, which finally got her to go. Tyler was confused and upset by the whole scene. He asked why Mark's girlfriend's name made the lady so mad. We had to explain in simple terms that sometimes adults don't get along, which was difficult since Tyler had always liked Kate during the few times they'd met. After these incidents, I decided to take more serious measures. I contacted a lawyer friend who helped me draft a cease and desist letter. The letter formally requested that Kate stop all attempts to contact me or my family members, including showing up at our homes or workplaces. It outlined the previous incidents and stated that further contact would be considered harassment. I had it delivered to her apartment by certified mail to ensure she received it. On a more positive note, Mark decided not to wait until Thanksgiving for the proposal. Last weekend, he took Jenna to the botanical gardens where they had their first date and proposed there. She said yes, of course. The ring fits perfectly after the resizing. Jenna called me right after it happened, and she sounded happier than I've heard her in weeks. They're thinking about a fall wedding next year. I'm still processing everything that happened with Kate. Looking back, there were warning signs I missed or ignored. Her competitiveness, her difficulty getting along with other women, her need to be the center of attention in every situation. I've learned some valuable lessons about what to look for in future relationships. For now, I'm focusing on work and spending time with family. Mark and Jenna have invited me over for dinner more often, and I think they're trying to make sure I don't isolate myself after everything that happened. I appreciate it, even though I've assured them I'm doing okay. Has anyone dealt with an ex who couldn't accept a breakup like this? The cease and desist letter seems to have worked so far, but I'm still a bit worried about what Kate might do next. Update 3: It's been 3 months since my last update, and I thought I'd share what's happened since then for anyone who might be interested or dealing with similar situations. The cease and desist letter seemed to work for about a month. Kate stopped trying to contact me directly, which was a relief. However, about 6 weeks ago, I discovered she had created a fake social media account and was using it to follow my brother's public accounts and those of some mutual friends we had. She wasn't interacting with any posts, just silently monitoring what was happening in my life through others' updates. A mutual friend noticed something off about the account. It had been created recently, had very few posts, and was following a specific pattern of people connected to me. He alerted me, and after looking at the profile pictures more carefully, we realized it was definitely Kate using old photos and a fake name. Around the same time, Jenna started receiving anonymous emails at her university address. The emails never directly mentioned Kate, but they contained veiled references to Jenna's relationship with my family and subtle digs about her background that matched Kate's previous insults. The emails weren't explicitly threatening, so there wasn't much that could be done legally, but it was clear to all of us who was sending them. The final straw came when Kate approached my youngest brother Tyler at his elementary school. She saw him at pickup time and started talking to him, asking questions about the family and specifically about Mark and Jenna's wedding plans. Thankfully, my dad arrived quickly and intervened before Tyler shared much information. Tyler recognized Kate and didn't think anything was wrong with talking to her, but my dad was understandably alarmed. After the incident with Tyler, we decided stronger action was necessary. My lawyer friend helped us file for a restraining order based on the pattern of harassment. We compiled all evidence, screenshots of the Facebook messages to Jenna, records of Kate showing up at my workplace and my dad's house, the suspicious social media account, the anonymous emails to Jenna, and finally the incident with Tyler. The judge granted a temporary restraining order, which was later made permanent after a hearing. Kate is now legally prohibited from contacting me, Jenna, or any member of my immediate family. She must stay at least 100 yards away from our homes, workplaces, and Tyler's school. During the hearing, Kate appeared with her own lawyer and tried to paint herself as the victim of exclusion by my family. However, the evidence of her behavior was overwhelming. The judge was particularly concerned about her approaching Tyler at school and made it very clear that any violation of the order would have serious consequences. Since the restraining order was put in place 2 months ago, things have been quiet. No more attempts at contact, no more anonymous messages, no more showing up uninvited. I'm cautiously optimistic that Kate has finally accepted the relationship is over and has moved on with her life. As for my family, we've all moved forward as well. Mark and Jenna's wedding planning is in full swing. They've set a date for next September and have already secured a venue. Jenna asked me to be one of the bridesmen in her wedding party, which I was honored to accept. She's become like a sister to me over the years, and especially after going through this ordeal together, our friendship has only grown stronger. My dad has installed security cameras at his house as a precaution, and both Mark and Jenna did the same at their apartment. It's unfortunate that we felt the need to take these measures, but it gives everyone peace of mind. I've started dating again, very casually and taking things slow. The experience with Kate taught me to be more attentive to how a potential partner interacts with my family and friends, especially other women. It's a non-negotiable for me now that anyone I date needs to understand and respect the important relationships in my life. Looking back at this whole experience, I'm grateful I recognized the problem before Kate and I moved in together or got more serious. It could have been much more complicated and painful to disentangle our lives if I had ignored the warning signs. If there's any advice I can offer from all this, it's to pay attention when someone shows animosity toward the people you care about. Those feelings rarely improve with time, and they often reveal fundamental incompatibilities that can't be overcome with love alone. Now let us move to the next story. Story 2. I exposed my sister's affair at her baby shower and my entire family turned against me. 1 year later, the truth came out and now they're begging for my forgiveness. I, F35, have always had a complicated relationship with my sister Lori, F33. Growing up, we were like night and day. Lori was the perfect child, straight A's, captain of the debate team, and prom queen. I, on the other hand, was more interested in art and music, often skipping classes to hang out at the local record store. Our parents never understood my passions, constantly comparing me to Lori and wondering why I couldn't be more like her. This dynamic continued well into our adult years. Lori went on to become a successful corporate lawyer, married Randy, M34, a wealthy real estate developer, and had 2 perfect children. Meanwhile, I struggled to find my place, bouncing between odd jobs before finally settling into freelance graphic design. It wasn't glamorous, but it allowed me to pursue my passion for art. Despite our differences, I always tried to maintain a relationship with Lori. I attended every family gathering, helped plan her wedding, and even offered to babysit her kids when they were born. But no matter what I did, it never seemed to be enough for Lori or our parents. I remember one particular Thanksgiving when Lori announced her first pregnancy. Everyone was overjoyed, cooing over her and offering congratulations. When I tried to join in, Lori looked at me and said, "Oh, I'm sure you'll find someone and settle down eventually. You just need to put yourself out there more." The condescension in her voice was unmistakable, and it stung. Another time, at her son's first birthday party, I overheard Lori talking to some of her friends. "Yeah, that's my sister," she said, gesturing towards me. "She's still trying to make it as an artist or something. I keep telling her to get a real job, but she doesn't listen." I pretended not to hear, but inside I was seething. Randy wasn't much better. He often joined in on Lori's teasing, making jokes about my little drawings and asking when I was going to get a grown-up job. At family dinners, he would dismiss my opinions on current events, saying things like, "Well, I'm sure it seems that way from your perspective, but in the real world." Despite all this, I kept trying. I thought if I just worked hard enough, proved myself enough, they would finally see my worth. But nothing ever changed. Things took a dramatic turn about 6 months ago. I was working on a project at my favorite local coffee shop when I saw Lori walk in. At first, I was going to call out to her, but then I saw she wasn't alone. She was with a man I didn't recognize, and they were acting far too intimate for it to be a work meeting. I watched in shock as Lori kissed this mystery man passionately before they sat down at a secluded table. My mind was reeling. Lori, the perfect sister, the one who always did everything right, was cheating on her husband. For days, I grappled with what to do with this information. Should I confront Lori? Tell Randy? Keep it to myself? I knew that if I accused Lori of cheating, she would likely deny it and somehow turn it around on me. She was always good at that, making me look like the bad guy. And if I told Randy, would he even believe me over his precious wife? In the end, I decided to keep quiet and gather more evidence. Over the next few months, I secretly followed Lori and documented her meetings with this mystery man. I took photos, recorded times and dates, and even managed to overhear some of their conversations. It was clear this wasn't just a one-time thing. Lori was having a full-blown affair. During this time, Lori announced she was pregnant with her third child. The family was ecstatic, planning a lavish baby shower to celebrate. I was invited, of course, but only as an afterthought. I still remember the phone call from Lori. "Hey sis," she said, her voice dripping with fake enthusiasm. "We're having a baby shower next month. I know you're not really into these things, but Mom insisted I invite you. Don't worry about bringing a gift, I know money's tight for you right now." Her words brought back memories of all the times she had belittled me, made me feel small and insignificant. And now, knowing what I knew about her affair, her holier-than-thou attitude made my blood boil. The day of the baby shower arrived, and I decided it was time to expose Lori's deceit. I arrived at the party, a forced smile on my face as I greeted everyone. Lori barely acknowledged me, too busy soaking up the attention from her friends and family. I waited until all the guests had arrived and Lori was opening her gifts. As she cooed over an expensive stroller from our parents, I stood up and cleared my throat. "I have a gift for you too, Lori," I said, my heart pounding. "It's the gift of truth." The room fell silent as all eyes turned to me. Lori looked annoyed, probably assuming I was about to make some sappy speech. But she had no idea what was coming. I pulled out my phone and connected it to the TV in the living room. "I think everyone here deserves to know who Lori really is," I said, my voice shaking slightly. Then I played the video I had compiled, photos of Lori kissing her lover, recordings of their intimate conversations, dates and times of their meetings. The room was dead silent as people processed what they were seeing and hearing. Lori's face turned pale, then red with anger. She started screaming at me, calling me a liar and a jealous bitch. Randy looked shell-shocked, staring at the screen with disbelief. Our parents tried to intervene, telling me to stop making a scene, but I refused to back down. "You've always treated me like I was worthless," I told Lori, years of pent-up frustration pouring out. "You've mocked my career, my lifestyle, my choices. You've made me feel small and insignificant at every turn. But at least I'm not a cheating liar who betrays her family." The baby shower quickly devolved into chaos after that. People started leaving, whispering among themselves. Lori locked herself in the bathroom, refusing to come out. Randy left without a word, taking the kids with him. Our parents were furious with me, saying I had ruined everything and demanding I leave. As I drove home that day, I felt a mix of emotions: vindication, guilt, anger, sadness. I knew I had just blown up my family, but a part of me felt like it had been a long time coming. It's been a week since the baby shower, and I'm still dealing with the fallout. Most of my family isn't speaking to me, saying I went too far by exposing Lori publicly. A few relatives have reached out to thank me for telling the truth, but they're in the minority. Lori has been telling everyone that I made everything up out of jealousy, and some people seem to believe her. I don't regret what I did. Lori has gotten away with treating me badly for years, always coming out smelling like roses. For once, I wanted everyone to see her for who she really is. But now I'm wondering if I took things too far. So, Reddit, AITA for exposing my sister's affair at her baby shower? Update 1. It's been about a month since the baby shower incident, and to say that a lot has happened would be an understatement. I wanted to give you all an update on the situation. First and foremost, Randy filed for divorce. He reached out to me a few days after the baby shower, asking to see all the evidence I had collected. I met him at a local diner, away from prying eyes, and handed over everything I had: photos, videos, dates, times, locations. Randy sat there for hours, going through it all, his face growing more and more grim with each piece of evidence. He told me that when he confronted Lori with the evidence, she tried to deny it at first. She claimed I had fabricated everything out of jealousy. But when faced with the overwhelming proof, she finally broke down and confessed. Randy was devastated but grateful to me for revealing the truth. Lori, on the other hand, has been on a warpath. She's been telling anyone who will listen that I'm a pathological liar who made everything up to ruin her life. She's even threatened to sue me for defamation, though I'm not too worried about that given the mountain of evidence I have. Our parents are still furious with me. They've been supporting Lori through all of this, helping her move out of the house she shared with Randy and even offering to pay for her lawyer. They've made it clear that they believe I acted out of jealousy and spite, and that I've torn the family apart. I tried to explain my side of things to them. I told them about all the years of belittlement and condescension I had endured from Lori. I reminded them of all the times they had compared me unfavorably to her, making me feel like I was never good enough. But they refused to listen. In their eyes, Lori is still the golden child who can do no wrong, and I'm the troublemaker who ruined everything. The rest of the family is divided. Some relatives have reached out to express their support, saying they always suspected Lori wasn't as perfect as she pretended to be. My cousin Amy called me and said, "I always thought Lori was full of it. Remember that time at Grandma's 80th birthday when she accidentally spilled wine on your new dress? I knew that wasn't an accident." It's been validating to hear that others had seen through Lori's facade. However, others are firmly on Lori's side, believing her claims that I made everything up. It's been hard seeing how quickly some people were willing to believe the worst of me. My Aunt Susan, who I've always been close to, called me in tears, asking how I could do such a terrible thing to my own sister. No matter how much I tried to explain, she wouldn't believe me. One unexpected development has been my relationship with Randy's family. His parents and siblings have been incredibly supportive, thanking me for exposing Lori's infidelity. They've even invited me to family gatherings, something Lori always forgot to do when she was married to Randy. Last weekend, I attended a barbecue at Randy's parents' house. It was strange being there without Lori, but also refreshing to be around people who appreciated me. As for Lori's pregnancy, it turns out the baby might not be Randy's. She's refusing to do a paternity test, which pretty much confirms everyone's suspicions. Randy is devastated at the thought that the child he was so excited about might not be his. He confided in me that he had always wanted a big family, and the thought that this baby isn't his is breaking his heart. I've been struggling with mixed emotions through all of this. On one hand, I feel vindicated. For years, Lori treated me like I was worthless while everyone praised her, and now the truth about her character is out. I remember all the times she mocked my career choice, like when she said at a family dinner, "Oh, you're still doing that little art thing? How cute." I guess someone has to design those free flyers they hand out at the supermarket. Now everyone knows that behind her perfect facade, she's capable of deep betrayal. On the other hand, seeing my family torn apart like this is hard, even if I don't regret my actions. I never wanted to be the cause of so much pain and chaos. There are moments when I miss the family dinners, the holiday gatherings, even the teasing. At least then we were all together. I've been focusing on my work to distract myself from all the drama. Ironically, the publicity from this whole incident has led to an increase in clients for my graphic design business. It seems some people in our community admire me for having the courage to expose the truth, even at great personal cost. I recently landed a big contract designing a campaign for a local politician, something I never would have gotten before all this happened. Despite the ongoing chaos, I stand by my decision to reveal Lori's affair. The truth was bound to come out eventually, and I believe Randy and the kids deserve to know. I just hope that in time, my parents and other family members will understand why I did what I did. For now, I'm taking it one day at a time, focusing on my work, and trying to navigate this new family dynamic. Update 2. It's been 6 months since my last update, and the situation has evolved in ways I never expected. I wanted to share the latest developments with you all. The biggest news is that Lori's baby was born 2 months ago. As many suspected, the paternity test confirmed that Randy is not the father. The real father turned out to be Lori's coworker, the man I had seen her with at the coffee shop. This revelation has caused another wave of drama in the family. Randy has been struggling to cope with everything. He's devastated about the baby not being his, and he's been fighting for full custody of their 2 older children. Lori is contesting this, leading to a nasty court battle. I've been supporting Randy as much as I can, providing statements about Lori's character and her treatment of me over the years. Last week, I attended one of the court hearings. Seeing Lori there, looking disheveled and stressed, was surreal. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Then I remembered all the years of her cruel comments and condescending attitude, and my sympathy evaporated. My parents have finally started to come around. After the paternity test results, they couldn't deny the truth any longer. They came to my apartment one evening, looking tired and defeated. My mom said, "We owe you an apology. We should have believed you from the start." It was validation I had been craving for years, but it felt hollow somehow. Years of favoritism towards Lori can't be erased overnight, and I'm finding it hard to forgive them for their initial reaction. Lori has become increasingly isolated. Many of her friends have distanced themselves from her, and she's facing disciplinary action at work due to her affair with a coworker. She's been reaching out to me, alternating between angry accusations and tearful pleas for reconciliation. One day she'll leave me a voicemail calling me a jealous, vindictive bitch, and the next she'll send a text saying she misses me and wants to make amends. I've been keeping my distance, not ready to let her back into my life after everything that's happened. Surprisingly, this whole ordeal has led to some positive changes in my life. The increase in my graphic design business has continued, allowing me to expand and hire an assistant. I've moved out of my small apartment into a nice house with a dedicated home office. It's strange to think that in some ways, my life has improved as a result of this family drama. I've also been dating someone new, a friend of Randy's who reached out to offer support during the divorce proceedings. It's early days, but it's nice to be with someone who knows the whole story and accepts me for who I am. The family dynamics have shifted dramatically. Relatives who once dismissed me are now seeking my company, often to gossip about Lori. It's a strange feeling, being the one people turn to for information and support after years of being the family outcast. Last month, at a cousin's wedding, I found myself surrounded by relatives hanging on my every word as I shared the latest updates on the situation. Part of me enjoyed the attention, while another part felt uncomfortable with the way they seemed to be reveling in Lori's downfall. I've been in therapy to deal with all the emotional fallout from this situation. It's helping me process my feelings about Lori, our parents, and my place in the family. I'm learning to set boundaries and prioritize my own well-being, something I never felt able to do before. As for Lori's baby, it's a complicated situation. Randy wants nothing to do with the child, which is understandable. Lori's coworker, the real father, is married with his own family and is reluctant to be involved. It's a mess, and I can't help but feel sorry for the innocent baby caught in the middle of all this. Despite all the chaos, I don't regret my actions at the baby shower. Exposing Lori's affair was difficult, but it was necessary. The truth has a way of coming out eventually, and I believe it's better that it happened now rather than years down the line. Update 3, it's been a year since my initial post, and I wanted to provide one final update on the situation. The divorce between Lori and Randy was finalized 3 months ago. Randy got primary custody of their 2 older children, with Lori having visitation rights. It was a bitter battle, but in the end, the evidence of Lori's infidelity and her subsequent behavior worked against her in court. Lori's life has taken a dramatic turn. She lost her job at the law firm due to the scandal of her affair with a coworker. She's been struggling financially and emotionally, often reaching out to family members for support. Last week, I ran into her at the grocery store. She looked tired and defeated, a far cry from the polished, confident woman she used to be. For a moment, I felt a pang of guilt, wondering if I had gone too far. But then I remembered all the years of her cruel comments and dismissive attitude, and I hardened my heart. Our parents have been helping Lori, which has caused some tension between us. They've been babysitting her baby and helping her financially. When I questioned this, my mom said, "She's still our daughter, and she needs us right now." I understand their position, but it's hard not to feel a bit resentful, remembering all the times I struggled and they told me to figure it out on my own. Randy has been doing better. He's focused on his kids and his business, and he's even started dating again recently. We've maintained a friendly relationship, and I'm glad to see him healing from all the hurt Lori caused. Last month, he invited me to his daughter's dance recital. Seeing him there, cheering her on with genuine happiness, made me feel like exposing the truth was worth it, despite all the chaos it caused. As for me, my life has changed in ways I never expected. My graphic design business has continued to thrive, and I've even been approached about teaching a course at a local community college. It's ironic, for years, Lori mocked my career choice, but now I'm the one with a stable, growing business while she's struggling to find work. My relationship with Randy's friend has grown serious, and we're talking about moving in together. It's strange to think that something positive could come out of this whole mess, but I'm cautiously optimistic about our future. My relationship with my parents is still complicated. While they've acknowledged that they were wrong about Lori and unfair to me, years of favoritism aren't easy to overcome. We're in family therapy together, trying to work through our issues and build a healthier relationship. It's a slow process, filled with uncomfortable conversations and painful revelations, but I'm hopeful that we can eventually reach a better place. Lori's baby is now 10 months old. It's a difficult situation. The child's biological father is minimally involved, and Lori is struggling as a single mother. Despite everything, I can't help but feel for my niece. I've been grappling with whether I want to have a relationship with her, knowing it's not her fault how she came into the world. Last week, I saw them at the park. The baby was giggling as Lori pushed her on the swing, and for a moment, I saw a glimpse of the sister I used to love. Looking back on everything that's happened, I still believe I made the right choice in exposing Lori's affair. It was a difficult and painful process, but it allowed the truth to come to light and gave people the opportunity to make informed decisions about their lives and relationships. This experience has taught me a lot about standing up for myself, the importance of honesty, and the complicated nature of family dynamics. While I never wanted to be the person to cause such upheaval in my family, I've come to accept that sometimes difficult actions are necessary for the truth to prevail. As I move forward, I'm focused on building a life that's true to who I am, surrounded by people who value honesty and respect. It's been a long and tumultuous journey, but I'm hopeful for what the future holds. The family gatherings are smaller now, and there's still tension in the air, but at least the relationships that remain are built on truth rather than pretense. Last week, I had dinner with Randy and the kids. As we sat around the table, laughing and sharing stories, I realized that while my actions had undoubtedly caused pain, they had also paved the way for new, more authentic connections. It's not the family I grew up with, but maybe, in time, it could be something even better.